Hey everyone, welcome back to the His and Hers the Choose podcast. My
Yes.
name is Tuan. This is my beautiful wife.
Sim, great seeing everyone again. And thank you guys. You know what? I've seen the algorithm, honey, has gone up. I guess you guys are starting to like us. So instead of shadow watching or being the back seat, hey, let's take the front seat and share it. Once you watch our show all the way through, make some comments, and hey, if you need some, I guess, if you have questions or anything, feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah, speaking of questions
Yeah.
and comments, hopefully you guys enjoyed that recent live where we did.
Mm-hmm.
We were answered some questions, past questions and comments, but also we answered a couple on the live show as well too. So really
Yeah.
appreciate those that contributed to those questions and comments for us
Thank
to
you,
react to.
guys.
So thank you, guys. Do us a huge solid, right? Subscribe, quit shadow watching. We're shadow banned as well too, so to quit, obviously push us up in the algorithm, and of course turn on the notification bell so that way you're notified of new content.
Yeah.
And I noticed because we're obviously posting more new content,
Yeah.
honey, our subscription's coming up. So
Yay.
appreciate you guys. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for obviously rewarding us
Showing the
for
love.
contributing, right, for making content for you guys.
Yeah.
But hey, guys, today's content actually is a pretty nice one because it came up on my feed.
Yeah.
And the title of the video that we're reacting today, honey, and most likely, guys, because it's a little bit of a longer video, we'll have to do two parts. So this is going to be part one.
Part one.
The title is China's Deadly Single Women Crisis. And I think this is not just a Chinese thing,
Yeah.
but
it's over.
we'll
All
see,
over.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you take a walk to the market, but instead of seeing fruit or vegetables, you see a market full of single women desperately looking for a partner. This is the reality for millions of people across China right now. These are the leftover women.
Yeah.
What do you just think about that first statement, honey? I mean, that's a pretty huge statement, right? In terms of a prediction. Maybe he has some insight or this
Yeah.
video. You guys, real quick
No.
too, this channel, please go subscribe to it.
Yeah.
They're a little bit biased in the way they word things, but for the most part, they're kind of just revealing kind of information
Yeah.
that has to do with Asian culture. That's the
Yeah.
reason why I like their content. And the title of the channel is, I believe, Owl of Asia.
Yeah.
So guys, go check out their channel, go subscribe. And what they do is they kind of just give you guys all this information that's kind of what they see, what there's going on in the world, and they say, hey, what do you think about it, right?
Yep.
So it's kind of cool. Go support their channel.
Yeah.
But so, honey, what do you think about it? What do you think about that statement and that kind of prediction that he was stating there
No,
about?
it's actually true because we do have friends that still live in China, and they've also brought up that there is a little crisis going on. There's more women now, single women out there, mid like I would say late 20s, 20s, 30 up to close to 40, mid 40s that aren't
Okay, but let me ask you guys this because I love playing devil's advocate,
meeting.
right? And we'll keep going too because I don't want to take too long. But do you think this is a new phenomena, or is this kind of maybe a manufactured phenomenon? And the reason why I ask this is because historically we know that majority of women, right, have procreated, right, whereas the majority of men has not.
Yeah.
And because it's just a numbers game, right? Wouldn't most women throughout history and in general be single?
Well,
If you
because
do the math.
Well, yeah, if they're getting, most of them are trying to get the higher value men because to
So-
refer with the good genetics.
So let me cut to the chase. Do you think it's just a mindset? They're rephrasing what's really happening to make it a crisis when the history has shown us that the majority of females are single moms.
Well, I know, but then remember China with the one child policy back when, right? Could also
Okay.
affect it because most of them depleted when it's a woman,
Okay.
a girl, right? But now
Okay.
because now they've now for right now they're saying, okay, now instead of one child policy, because most back then when you have that one child policy because they were trying to keep population
Okay,
a little
well,
bit down in China. So
Yeah.
most of them would keep men, boys,
Okay, well
male heirs, right, to carry.
let's watch this video.
But right now it's like
Yeah,
3-child policy, so
I,
now
I'm
it's increasing.
I'm just saying I think this is something that's been going on for a while now, but I think it's just something that we're trying to make light. They're trying to make light of
bring out.
now. Yeah,
Mhm.
which we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
The term leftover women is normally applied to single women over the age of 27 who are unmarried. However,
Okay.
as you can imagine, this is a derogative term. Take a listen to the terminology used for both single men and women in China.
If you're a woman, single, and over 30, you are called 剩女, which means leftover woman in Mandarin. In Cantonese, you are called 攞底橙, 賣剩蔗, and 攝做辣, which means orange at the bottom of the basket, the sugar cane that didn't get sold, and the thing used for filling the gap of the stove. But
Nice.
if you're a man, single, and over 30, you are called 钻石王老五, which means a diamond bachelor in Mandarin. In Cantonese, you're called 笋盤, which means quality real estate.
But why is being an orange at the bottom of the basket such a problem in China? And why have
Okay, so before we go over the reasons why, what do you think about those just quote unquote terms?
Well, the terms for the female looks it's like negative, but then for the
But do you think
for the
it's-
men you're like yes.
But do you
you're
think
good,
it's a
you're
really,
diamond in a rough?
do you think it's rooted in a little bit of reality?
In somewhat, yes. Because think about it, with the leftover part and then you're sort of bottom barrel, it's like you're getting rotted. You're
Yeah.
rotting away, right?
Yeah.
You're not fruit.
Yeah.
You're not
Well,
being
you're not-
fruitful.
you're
You're
not
not fertile.
fresh.
Yeah,
You're not fresh fruit.
anymore. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. So you're bottom. What do you think
So-
when you're in the bottom? Most fruits are at the bottom. You don't want it because they're starting to, deteriorate. They're getting old.
Yeah.
They're not fresh anymore. They're
Yeah.
freaking pruned like, and there
Yeah.
you go.
So
It's
like I said,
reality.
I love this channel, but you can notice that they're a little bit biased,
Yeah.
and they use the word to describe the word for women as
Mm-hmm.
derogatory, and rightfully so. It should be derogatory because women do have a finite amount of time
Yep.
to be fresh,
Mm-hmm.
right? To be pick-me's, right? We use all these shaming language to shame men of what they want in women's values,
Mm-hmm.
and then also to scare and to shame women to think they should think the opposite, right? Oh, I don't want to be a pick-me, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to be a Xing Yu, right? Or I'm sorry, like, Xing Yu is a derogatory term, so what's wrong with being a Xing Yu, right? So they make the words that should be rightfully so different, so that way you feel. And so the only reason why I bring that up is because, hey, I proposed that question to the beginning of this video, right?
Yeah.
Do you think this is a manufactured crisis, or do you think this is something that's been going on for a while? And I personally think that this is
And going on.
for a while. Majority of women, just by default, because they want the top tier man, right? They're going to be single,
Well,
or
right.
they're going to share. They're gonna have to share this top tier one man, right? And the problem is, nowadays is women don't want to share
Yeah.
the top tier men, whereas in the past
They have.
they realized that was the reality, right? Only certain men they were attracted to. Only certain men were capable
Of
to
caring
give them
for
the
them.
best
Yeah,
chance
outcome.
of survival,
Yeah.
right?
It's survival
Correct.
most of the time.
All right, let's keep going.
people resorted to extremes in order to find a partner? Well, to find this out, we need to uncover the societal pressures and reality of life in China. In 1979, China's one-child policy came into effect.
Okay.
This was a
Told ya.
drastic measure taken to control population growth. The policy ended in 2016 and was replaced with the two-child policy, which was then updated to the three-child policy, which is currently in place. But the echoes of the original policy still reverberate today, with approximately 104.7 males for every 100 females. It also must be mentioned
Not that much.
that there is a strong preference for sons in China. You see, in China, sons are considered the golden ticket. They carry the family name forward. They're the ones traditionally seen as the wealth inheritors. And most importantly, it's believed they're the steadfast pillars who will take care of their parents in old age. It's a mind
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
they gave some reasons why, and once again, they're kind of a little biased, right? They're really
Yeah.
kind of like saying that these
Traditional
traditional
values.
values and
Mm-hmm.
ideologies shouldn't be adhered to, right? So, first things first, they're saying it's because of societal pressures and obviously Asian cultures. And guys, that's really what our channel is trying to
Yep.
debunk and discuss, right? And we're hoping that you guys are discussing out there in your Asian
Mm-hmm.
communities as well, too, right? And so they brought up this whole one child policy,
Yep.
right? Whereas in back in the day in 2016 they changed it to two children,
Children. And
you know,
now
and then
3.
recently they changed it to three children.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think about that, honey? Do you think it was caused because of this, limited capacity having, only a certain amount of children? You-
No. It's all like you said. It's tradition, traditional values that people put upon. Like, hey, if you had a son, the son will carry and take care of you. All this stuff. And that's why they sort of deleted the woman. But it's not like you can't have the daughter still.
But why do you think they would eliminate the one child policy and then go to two and then
Mm-hmm.
finally go to three? What do you think the actual reason for them to do that would be?
Because you think government, it's all about money. Yeah, I can tax more. I can make more. I need to, have us grow. I mean, what do you think China is? I mean, it's so
There's a little bit of
liberal,
that, right? There's a
know.
little bit of that. But the reality is, people weren't getting together to
Yeah.
have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And right. And this is a modern thing. And this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. This is unfortunately a matrix thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as you want to try to control the truth, right? Because before we used to have structures in place to kind of, in a way, push people to get together.
Yeah.
Right? We told people, hey, be a good person, do this. There's someone for everyone. We've talked about these false ideologies in our other videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can see that human nature still takes over,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the truth still takes over. So, okay, hey, we were having too many kids because we were bountiful and plentiful.
Yep.
Right. And so we had to stop that growth by
Mm-hmm.
limiting to a one child policy. Well, what did people want? Well, the truth.
Yeah.
Well, I want a son then.
Yeah.
And because let's talk about that whole son kind of supposed son pressure ideology, right? The truth of the matter is the son is the one that's going to carry your
That's true.
legacy. Right? Because we talk about it all the time. Men have the value to kill and to change and
protect.
shape the world, right? We're the ones that can go out there and build things,
Physical
invent things,
labor,
and
hard
physical labor to
labor.
actually
Mhm.
change and shape the world,
Yeah.
right? Wars, right? We're the ones that actually go fight,
Front line.
conquer, right?
Mhm.
History is created by wars and fighting, and men are the ones that do that, and men will always be the one that do that,
Yeah.
right? And so the truth comes out. You want a son. If you're forced
Mm-hmm.
to choose one or the other to carry your legacy, right? You want a man, right? Because otherwise, if you have a daughter, who does she follow?
Yep. Her husband.
She has
her
to follow
family.
her husband. So that means she's following this other family's
Yeah.
legacy. Okay. And so what I'm trying to get at is that so to quell that, and my wife is 100% right. Money is involved, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because this is happening in all parts of the world, not just China.
No.
The growth rate of people to replace the people passing away is unfortunately off balance. There's
Yeah.
more people dying
Yep.
than there are people
People
to
to
replace.
replace.
So how are they going to have a workforce? How are they
Yeah.
going to have someone
what I'm
that's
saying.
going to pay them money and work for them in the future, right?
Think of certain countries right now. Their population is so small
Japan.
where they're trying to pay people to
Korea
even have,
has that problem.
have kids.
Mhm.
They're actually paying. Government's actually paying you to have kids in a way and supporting you in some kind of financial means, whatever else. There's a lot of different countries right now. If you actually want to dig into it, is actually trying to find ways to support couples to have kids, because if you don't procreate, we're not going to have a population. If you don't have population, then there's no country. If there's no country, then that country's depleted. It's dead.
Correct.
And then think about it. And then if you don't have many people to support that country and fight, if there is a war, well, then your country is gone. And then another country will just, take over. Sorry to say, it doesn't really matter what millennial is. You can already see there's war going on right now. I mean, so we do need to continue our lineage for human beings to exist.
But how can we go continue the lineage? Because the problem is when you force that continuation, this is kind of the outcomes that you're seeing, right? You're forcing people to choose the truth,
Yeah.
or you're forcing people to repress the truth, right?
Yeah.
Have less kids. And then now they're like saying, oh crap, we don't have
Yeah.
enough kids. So let's force people to have kids. But the problem is you've created well, you didn't create, but you've allowed, unfortunately, the matrices, the structures to break
think,
down.
yeah.
And now people are like, well, I need money. I need support. It's always been that way, right?
Yeah.
And so I got to find the top tier man. But you've told me that I deserve that top tier guy, but there's only a certain amount of top tier guys to go around, right? And so same thing with the men. They're like, hey man, I can't afford a wife,
especially
right?
an old wife who won't,
And then now
won't give me a child.
and then
you
now
know?
I have these women who are more outgoing, more outspoken.
Yeah.
They're not the traditional women that I want to have, following me anymore. Shoot, they won't even follow me.
And most women right now, it's like all about me. They're not like, if your husband's up and down, hey, you guys support each other. If they're, hardships, you guys got to work together. Most women don't want to play that woman role, motherly role. It's all, and then the men is like, hey, I'm working all this, my butt off to the bone, and then you don't want to do anything. Most women aren't trying to do that either. So it's like, why are they wanting to get married? And then think about it, women, if you are watching this channel, looking to you right now, if you don't want to play that motherly role, womanly role to satisfy your man, then what's the point for him to have you? He might as well just go get someone else. There's no point. So if you want to play that role and you guys want to connect, you guys got to help each other out. That's how we work things together. We work, hand in hand.
Let's see if that's possible moving forward. But let's watch that last half of this video, honey.
Yeah.
Mindset rooted in centuries of tradition, one that continues even in our modern times. But wait a minute, there are more males than females, right? So what's the problem? Well, unlike Tinder, this is not a numbers game. There's a societal preference in China for younger brides, typically in their early 20s. Women who are still unmarried in their late 20s and beyond often face difficulty finding partners. Chinese men are not afraid to admit they prefer younger women, and many would rather choose to be single than date an older woman. The reality of matchmaking in China is dramatically changing as we speak. Many leftover women are moving to a different life.
Okay, so we'll react one more last part before this one. But regardless, honey, what do you think about that freaking statement of societal pressures are saying that men want younger, more fertile women, right? And then
I disagree on that. They've been wanting younger women a long time.
And then also the
way
numbers
beyond.
thing, right? I kind of touched a little bit, but they're saying what's the problem? If there's more men than women, what's the problem? And guys, this is why I tell you, I love these channels, but
They
at the
love
same
to
time,
reword it.
they're so unaware of the truth, right? So what do you think about those two things?
Yeah,
honey?
I disagree on that one. I mean, men want younger women way back hundreds and hundreds of years ago, because why? It's fertility, people being fertile, younger youth, someone that they can actually mold.
And it's
Well,
also
you're-
genes.
genes.
It's also genes. If you're not attracted to somebody,
Yeah.
why would you want to have kids with that somebody?
Yeah.
Your kids are gonna be ugly, right? Like we live in this society now where we always say it has to be nice, right? It's like, oh, that kid's cute. No, there's some kids that are ugly. I'm sorry to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta,
But most
unfortunately.
kids are cute, though.
Sure,
most babies are
but
cute.
my point is, there's ugly people and there's good-looking people, right? And then there's high-value people and there's low-value people. That's just the reality, right? And I want to segue to that because, well, I'll let you talk first. But what do you think about the whole? Well, what is the problem then if there's more men than women? What is the problem?
What is the problem? Because then the men's aren't even choosing them. That's why. That's the problem.
Well,
and then we're not going to continue our lineage.
Well, I think most
the
men
problem.
would choose most women based upon how men are. But what's the problem? What's really the problem?
What do you think is the problem?
Well, we've talked
That
about
is
it all
the
the time
problem
in this
already,
in this
'cause there's
community.
Yeah.
But we also talk about this in
There's
this
no
channel.
change. People aren't changing. People are
No.
just trying to. They're.
The problem is most women don't want most men.
I'm just saying they're just now because they're modern.
No, the problem is
They're
it's
not playing their
always
roles.
been that way, guys. It's always been that way. That's why I'm trying to say this crisis is a little made up because women have always been this way. The only thing that was maybe in the past that helped a little bit was that we had structures in
In the
place,
community.
right? Like
Yeah.
the shaming, like we talked about some of the societal pressures.
Mm-hmm.
These are the real societal pressures, not this BS of men wanting younger women. That's
Yeah.
not a societal pressure. That's just the
Mhm.
truth, right? And then same thing of women wanting the top tier man.
But that's
not
always been,
that's
though.
not societal pressure. That's just the truth. The societal pressure
Mm-hmm.
that we had previously was that we shamed women for wanting the quote unquote top tier men only,
Mm-hmm.
right? We said that, hey, if you're a woman and you're of obviously fertile age and you met a nice guy and he was going to take care of you and committed to you, then choose him, right? Because at least you're having somebody and having family, right? And so women, in a way, and this is the reason why women were complaining. This is the reason why feminist movement probably started. One of the main reasons, because women were forced, right? Like in terms of like arranged marriages, that type of stuff, right? They were forced to marry these guys that they weren't 100% aroused and attracted to. But it was the in essence a better matrix, right? But now those matrices are gone. So what are women naturally wanting to do?
Yeah.
They want the top tier guy. And because they want the top tier guy, it doesn't matter how many men there is. They only want that 20% or less of man.
Yeah.
And so that's the problem. That's what this channel and guys
Well,
out
look,
there
it's
don't
104
understand.
to 100. That's not even
It
that much
doesn't
of a
matter. They
difference. That
still
wasn't even that much of a
so if you
difference.
think, let's just say 100 to 100.
Yeah.
Out of those 100 women, they only want 20 of those men.
Yeah, well, there you go, women. That's why you're left over.
Yeah, so now, but and then the reason why they're left over is because the men are only going to commit to a handful of women,
Yeah.
and this is the other reality that we don't discuss in this community a lot. You know, the RP community, or even in these manosphere dating channels. They don't say this a lot to women, even though they're harsh to women, quote unquote. They don't tell women that, hey, a lot of you guys aren't going to be saved. A lot of you guys shouldn't be saved, right? The reality is most people aren't going to be saved,
Yeah.
right? The top percentage of people will get with the majority
Of the other
of people, but they're not going to commit to the majority of women. They're only going to take care of
Yeah.
the top tier women,
Yep.
right? And so that's the reality.
It's no secret that society in China is completely different from the West. As the war on technology between China and America continues, there's a big contrast in what the public is exposed to. For instance, TikTok. In China, they have a separate version that is known to promote science, educational, and historical content, while the US version is pushing dance videos and questionable content. So, with this in mind, it is no surprise that millions of women are choosing to pursue higher education or to focus on their careers. And the results? Well, many people are marrying much later or are even choosing not to marry. This shift challenges traditional norms where women were expected to prioritize marriage and family. But the change in priority is not only in the mind, but also in the location. It has been reported that Chinese men in rural areas find it increasingly difficult to attract a spouse. Why?
duh.
Well, this is due to the massive rural-urban migration of women seeking better economic opportunities. A lot of these
Yeah,
career women
duh.
don't mind being single, but traditions and family roots remain strong, leading some parents to take matters into their own hands and attend wedding markets to advertise their unmarried daughters.
Wow.
Okay, that's
They're
gonna
not
be
going-
that's gonna be the last part of the video we're going to react to. But God, this, like I said,
Trust
this
me.
channel is, like I said, I love their videos because they kind of just present this information to
Like
you,
sort of
kind of in the
tweak it.
unfortunately a naive way,
Yeah.
because like they don't understand the truth and they don't understand RP truths. So what do you think about that, honey? That the fact that the
Vaccine.
reason why the marriage rates in their mind is going down
BS.
is because of TikTok promoting more education
Educational.
for
No.
women.
BS. Okay, those women just want money. They want a higher tier man. Just
Yeah,
that's one of 'em.
women have always
that
wanted
way.
financial success.
Yeah.
And
They want
now,
security.
And now,
protection.
exactly. And now, because it is more socially normalized for women to go out there and make their money. And guys, even if it wasn't normal, even if it wasn't promoted through feminism or modernization or female empowerment, whatever movement you want to call, the reality will still push them towards it. Because once again, there are so only many qualified males to go around. And as much as we want to make a matrix to solve that issue, we can't. Because like I told you guys, there's going to be only so many winners in a competition. Right? It wouldn't be a competition if everybody was a winner. Right? So and this is the truth too. In most competitions, the winners are the top 3 places, right? 1 to 3. Right? So the fact that the top 20% or 30% of people are winning, that's actually a pretty good competition. But I guess racially wise, right, that's 1 to 3, right? Every 10% is the top 3. So in essence, it makes sense, right? Because only the top winners will get the results that you want. The problem is we're always trying to make some type of social construct to solve the problem of everyone winning. And we cannot do that. So what does women need to do? Well, shit, I want the top tier man. I want that security and provision. But I either one can't attract him because I'm not attractive enough. But this is more of the reality. So my Asian sisters, but my sisters out there in general, listen up. It has nothing to do with your physical looks that makes you not qualified to attract a man. Most men will get with most women. You could be a freaking 4 or a 5, and most men will still commit to you in terms of looks wise.
It's your attitude.
Yes, it's your false ideology. It's your false ideology that we have all forgotten. And I get it. It makes most women cringe. I'm sure my wife will cringe when I say this statement too. But the reality is most women need to share the top tier men. That's the only way it's always worked. That's how it's always worked. In every species, the lion, the freaking damn animals, right? It's the top tier males that get all the freaking women.
And those women didn't mind sharing way back then,
Correct.
I guess,
And that's
because
how
they wanted to be protected. They want to be cared for. They want to make sure that their kids
best
be strong,
genes.
best genes. Why do you think?
Right.
Like, most of the top 10, okay, think about it. If I threw in Brad Pitt and he wants to, like, sleep with you, whatever else, and say, hey, I'm going to have your child, whatever. Are you trying to say half of you women will not want to be with Brad Pitt or whoever stars that you're Goo Gaga or the model? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has money. He has game.
He
they
has
look
the
good.
resources.
Everything
he
else.
has the
They're
qualifications.
going to all want to sleep with him.
Yeah. The problem is you guys have been sold this false ideology, right? There's only one person for everyone, right? There's, you got to be faithful in terms of your values being exactly the same. And men and women aren't the same, right? You guys want different things. And so that's what you're seeing. It has nothing to do with because TikTok sold women to be more educated, right? It's because of human nature. Women want the top tier values from the man, the top tier values. And now because they can't find it from only, unfortunately, the same guy, because they don't want to share the same guy, they say, well, screw it. I just have to get it myself because what is my other option? My other option is just getting with some average guy.
And they don't want average.
And those average guys, I'm looking at you women out there, but my average bros, this is a stark reminder. Don't freaking forget this. You discuss them. They look at you and they're like, no, I would rather be single and alone. They even said that in the end of this portion of the video. These women would rather be single and alone and work on their career. And how many times have you heard these women come on these podcasts and say the exact same thing?
And then you know what? Then women don't complain then if you're going to be left over. Because these single men, I'm sorry to say, even if you're an average dude, trust me, as long as you tweak and, up your game, you will find a woman. Most of the time.
Well, guys, you cannot be average. And this market, this modern day,
I'm saying up your game.
You need to be above average to even get a shot. Let's talk percentages. You better try to make it to the top 30%. And I get, for all you freaking average and below average guys out there, you don't want to hear my message. You don't want to hear like FNF's message. You don't want to hear Andrew Tate's message. You call these guys, freaking, misogynist or, I don't believe in that because we should be more moral. Screw morality. That's the reality, right? There's no moral structure. You want to be a tradcon and believe in your freaking religious lies? It don't work that way. Women don't freaking care, right? They're not going to freaking care that you're freaking religious and you're a good person.
Because
gonna-
at the end
it
of the day,
doesn't pay the bills.
can you support them?
Yeah.
Can you put a roof over their head? Is the light on? Is the heater up?
Yeah.
I mean, and everything else. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Just because you're average doesn't mean you can't up your game, guys. You know what I mean? If you want variety, then you have to up your game.
The
Be
key-
better at certain
the
things. Mm-hmm.
key is you have the opportunity. Now, are all of us going to make it? No. But would I rather tell you that, hey, you have the opportunity and this is what you need to do to get that outcome?
Yep.
Or would you rather me sit here and lie to you like all the matrices in the past and be like, oh, no, just be this and you'll be fine. Be average and you'll be good. There's someone for everyone, right?
And then think
get,
about it.
Get with some 304.
And you
who's-
still got a divorce.
Correct.
And you still break
get,
up
Get with
because
some
you don't
304
care.
and don't
Yeah.
worry, you know what?
You
She's
can't.
equal to you and she can pay half the bills. And don't worry, she'll be faithful to you. Yeah, you've seen it, right? Yeah. This unicorn of a relationship. You've seen it work out, right? But anyways, guys, hey, that was a pretty good reaction. I'm
Yep.
excited to react to the second part of it, guys.
two.
Thank you for joining us. Peace.
Bye.
Join us as we give you guys a glimpse into our lives, give you guys advice, hopefully give you guys entertainment value as well too, and provide you guys better outcomes.
Yes.